Good morning, children and Saira. So, how are you all? I hope that you all are fine, right? Great. So, children, as you all know, before Diwali break, we have already started economics chapter number 3rd, right? So, in this class, we will continue with this chapter. So, welcome you all in the second part of economics chapter number 3rd, that is poverty as a challenge. So before moving further, let's take a quick recap what we have already discussed in the previous video. So in previous video we have learned what is poverty, right? So what is poverty? Basically it is a situation in which a person is unable to get minimum basic necessities of life. Basically when a person is unable to get minimum basic necessities of life, for example food, clothing and shelter for his or her sustenance, right? So this is called poverty. Then next we have discussed social exclusion and vulnerability, right? Social exclusion. So basically analysis of poverty based on social exclusion and vulnerability is now becoming very common among the social scientists. So let's first understand what is the meaning of social exclusions. So according to this concept, poverty must be seen in terms of poor, having to live only in a poor surrounding with other people, with other poor people actually. And they also excluded from enjoying social equality of better of people in better surrounding. Clear? It is mainly a process, we can say that it is mainly a process through which individuals and or we can say the groups are excluded from facilities, benefits and opportunities that others enjoy. For example, caste system in India. Clear? Second term we have discussed vulnerability, right? So basically this term describes the greater probabilities of certain individuals and communities like widow, physically handicapped, backward caste, of becoming poor or remaining poor in the coming years. Clear? Basically, this term describes the greater probability of certain individuals or community of becoming poor or remaining poor in the coming years. So, vulnerability is determined by the options available to different communities for finding an alternative living in terms of assets, education, health, and job opportunities. Okay, children? So, this is what we have discussed in the previous video. Now, next topic is, so here are the topics which we will discuss in this video. So first we have discussed about the vulnerable groups, right? That means the social groups and economic groups. Then we have discussed, then we will discuss interstate is state disparity. And after that we will discuss about the global poverty scenario. And last but not the least, causes of poverty. So let's start with the first, vulnerable groups. Now, vulnerable groups means, first of all, vulnerable group means groups that experience a higher risk of poverty. Vulnerable groups means groups that experience a higher risk of poverty and social exclusion than the general population. Basically, ethnic minorities, migrants, disabled people, the homeless, or we can say that those struggling with substance abuse, isolated elderly people, and children all often face difficulties that can lead to further social exclusion, such as low levels of education and unemployment or under unemployment. Clear? Okay. So vulnerable group. First of all, the proportion of people below poverty line, that means BPL. The proportion of people below poverty line is also not same for all social groups, right? Or we can say that all social groups and the economic categories in India. So vulnerable groups in India includes SC, that means scheduled caste, scheduled tribes. It also include land-less agricultural labor, women, elderly people, female infants, etc. and etc. Okay, so let's first talk about the social groups. So the social groups which are the most vulnerable to poverty are the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribes household. Clear? In social group category, which are the most vulnerable to poverty are scheduled caste and scheduled tribe households. The next, similarly, among the economic group, if we talk about the economic group, so the most vulnerable group are the rural agricultural labor households and the urban casual labor households. Clear? In social group, the most vulnerable to poverty are SC and ST households, right? And economic groups, the most vulnerable groups are the rural agricultural labor and next urban casual labor household. Okay, so basically this graph shows the percentage of poor people in all these groups. That means social group and economic categories. Although the average for people below poverty line for all groups in India is 22, right? As is shown in this graph, basically the average for people below poverty line for all groups in India is 22. 43 out of 100 people belonging to the ST. Okay, that means scheduled tribes. 43 out of 100 people belonging to the scheduled tribes are not able to meet their basic needs. Then similarly 34% of casual worker, 34% of casual labor farm in urban areas are below poverty line and about 34% of casual labor farm in rural areas. Okay, 34% of casual labor farm in rural areas and 29% of scheduled caste are also poor. So the double disadvantage of being a landless casual wage labor household in the socially disadvantaged social groups of the people. Scheduled caste or the scheduled tribes population highlights the seriousness of the problem. Some recent studies have shown that, except for the SC households, all the other three groups, that is SC, rural agricultural laborers, and urban casual laborers household, have seen a decline in poverty in 1990s. And apart from these social groups, there is also inequality of income within a family. And in poor families, all suffer, but some suffer more than others. In some cases, women, elderly people, and female infants are denied equal access to resources available to the family. Clear? Now, the next topic is interstates disparities. Okay, so interstate disparities in poverty in India. As we know that children poverty in India also has another aspects or dimension. The proportion of poor people is not the same in every state, right? As we know that the proportion of poor people is not the same in every state. Although state level poverty has witnessed a secular decline from the levels of early 70s. The success rate of reducing poverty varies from state to state. Okay, now the first one is the states with poverty ratio more than the national average. So, in India, Odisha, Bihar, Assam, Tripura, right, and Uttar Pradesh are the most poverty ridden states of India. The poverty ratio in these states is much higher than the national average. And Odisha and Bihar are the poorest state, right? Odisha and Bihar are the poorest states with poverty ratio of 47 and 43 respectively. And most of these states are facing rural as well as urban poverty. Clear? Now, the second is states with poverty ratio less than the national average. So, recent studies show that in 20 states and union territories, the poverty ratio is less than the national average. So, there has been a significant decline in poverty ratio in Kerala, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, and West Bengal. Then next we have states with low poverty ratio, right? So states like Punjab, Haryana, Goa, Himachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir have very low percentage of population living below the poverty line. Okay. So here is the graph. Basically, this graph shows that Bihar and Odisha, right? This graph shows that Bihar and Odisha continue to be the two poorest state with the poverty ratio of 33.7 and 32.6% respectively. And along with the rural poverty, urban poverty is also high in Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, and Uttar Pradesh. Now, in comparison, there has been, as I told you, significant decline in the poverty in Kerala, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, and West Bengal. And states like Punjab, Haryana have traditionally succeeded in reducing poverty with the help of high agricultural growth rates. And Kerala has focused more on human resource development. And if we talk about the West Bengal, so West Bengal land reforms. In West Bengal, land reform measures have helped in reducing poverty. And in Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, public distribution of food grains, that means PDS system, public distribution system of food grains, could have been responsible for the improvement. Clear? Now, the next topic is the global poverty scenario. The proportion of people in different countries living in extreme economic poverty defined by the World Bank. Okay, the proportion of people in different countries living in extreme economic poverty defined by the World Bank as living on less than $1.90 per day, right? Less than $1.90 per day has fallen from 36% in 1990s to 10% in 2015. Okay, and in the countries of South Asia, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bangladesh, Bhutan, this decline has also been rapid. Basically, although there has been a substantial reduction in global poverty, It is marked with great regional differences. Poverty declined substantially in China and Southeast Asia countries as a result of rapid growth rate and the massive investments in human resource development. So basically number of poor in China has come down from 88.3% in 1981 to the 14.7% in 2008, right? And to 0.7% in 2015. So number of poor in China has come down. Now, in sub-Saharan African, poverty in fact declined, right? In sub-Saharan African, poverty has fallen from 51% in 2005 to 41% in 2015. Okay, so basically Nigeria and Bangladesh are the two poorest countries in the world. Okay, here is the table. Basically, this table shows the proportion of people living under poverty in different countries as defined by the International Poverty line. Clear? This table shows the proportion of people living under poverty in different countries as defined by the International Poverty Line. Means population below 1.90 degree dollar a day. Okay, so the new sustainable development goals of United Nations propose ending poverty of all types by 2030. Okay, now basically this table shows that Nigeria, right? So first of all, Nigeria, this country has the largest percentage of population below 1.90 dollar a day, that means 53.5 in 2009. So basically we have four countries which have high percentage of population living below poverty line. So as I told you, all those who live on less than 1.90 dollar per day are considered living below poverty line. So Nigeria, Bangladesh, India and Pakistan. These are the four countries which have high percentage of population living below poverty line. And the Nigeria has the largest percentage of population below living below poverty line. Clear? Now, next we have causes of poverty. So basically, there were number of causes for the widespread poverty in India. And one of the historical reason is the low level of economic development under the colonial government. That means British rule. Okay, under the British colonial administration. Basically, the policies of the colonial government ruined traditional handicrafts of India and also discouraged development of industries like textiles. So the low rate of growth persisted until the 19th century, and this resulted in less job opportunities and low growth rate of income, and this was accompanied by a high growth rate of population. Now next, with the spread of irrigation and the green revolution, many job opportunities were created in the agriculture sector, right? With the spread of irrigation and the green revolution, many job opportunities were created in the agriculture sector. But the effects were limited to some parts of India. The industries, both in public and the private sector, did provide some jobs. But these were not enough to observe all the job seeker. Unable to find proper jobs in the cities, many people they started working as rickshaw puller, vendors, construction workers, domestic servants, etc. and etc. Okay. Now, next, people migrated from the rural areas to the urban areas in search of livelihoods. Okay, right? People migrated from rural areas to urban areas in search of livelihood with the irregular small incomes. Basically, these people could not afford expensive housing, right? They started living in slums on the outskirts of the cities, and the problems of poverty, largely a rural phenomena, also became the feature of the urban sector. Now, the another feature of high poverty rates has been the huge income inequalities. Basically, one of the major reasons for this is the unequal distribution of land. Okay, one of the major reasons for this is the unequal distribution of land and other resources. Despite many policies, we have not been able to tackle the issues in the meaningful manner. And major policies, initiatives like land reforms, which aimed at redistribution of assets in rural areas, have not been implemented properly and effectively by most of the state's government. So, since lack of land resources has been one of the major causes of poverty in India, and proper implementation of policy could have improved the life of millions of rural people. Now, next, many other socio culture and economic factors are also responsible for poverty, right? In order to fulfill social obligation and observe religious ceremonies, people in India, right, including the very poor people, small farmers, right, they spend a lot of money. Small farmers need money so to buy agriculture inputs like seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, etc. and etc. So since poor people they hardly have any savings, then they borrow money and unable to repay because of poverty. So they become victims of indebtedness. So the high level of indebtedness is both the causes and the effect of poverty. So is it clear the causes of poverty? So first of all, the ruler, the British rule, right? Next is the high growth rate of population, lack of job opportunities in the sector, income inequalities, and the lack of land resources. So these are the causes of poverty in India. So that's it for this part, this video. This chapter we will continue in the next video also. Now it's quiz time. So the first question is, which one of the social groups is vulnerable to poverty? Right? Now options are, first is scheduled caste, option B urban casual labor, option C rural agricultural household, and option D all of the above. So which one of the social groups is vulnerable to poverty? So answer is option A, scheduled caste, right? Now, question number 2 is, which of the following organization estimate the poverty line in India? Right? Which of the following organization estimate the poverty line in India? Options are, first is the Indian Statistical Institute, the next National Sample Survey Organization, then option C is Ministry of Human Resource and Development, and the last option is National Human Rights Commission. Okay, so option B is the correct answer. So basically, National Sample Survey Organization. Okay, National Sample Survey Organization estimate the poverty line in India. Clear? So which organization estimate the poverty line in India? NSSO, National Sample Survey Organization. Now the next question is, what is the accepted average calorie requirement in India? Right. So first of all, in rural areas, the accepted average calorie required is, yes, it's 2400 calories. Right? In rural areas, 2400 calories are required. And second is in urban areas. In urban areas is 2100 calories. Okay, in urban areas 2100 calories accepted average calories required. Okay, now tell me children, why calories requirement is higher in the rural areas as compared to the urban areas? In rural areas we required 2400 calories, but in urban areas only 2100 calories. Why? Basically, since people living in rural areas, they engage themselves in more physical work, right? So the calorie requirement in rural areas obviously is higher than in the urban areas. Now the next question is, which country has the largest percentage of population living below poverty line? Now options are option A Bangladesh, option B Nigeria, option C India, and option D China. So which country has the largest percentage of population below poverty line? Yes, option B, right? Option B, Nigeria is the correct answer. So Nigeria has the largest percentage of population below poverty line. So that's all for today. Have a nice day and thank you children.